had got lovely vibes in the theatre. She said, yo, and we used that so much. And then she came across as a pop singer.
नमस्कार, आज के पॉडकास्ट में मैं आप सबका स्वागत करती हूँ। हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही महान हस्ती उषा जी हैं, जो कि फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर रही हैं जवाहरलाल नेहरू कल्चरल सेंटर, इंडियन एम्बेसी मॉस्को, एंड फॉर्मर मेंबर सेक्रेटरी भी रही हैं इंटेंजिबल कल्चरल हेरिटेज, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर, न्यू दिल्ली में। और हमें बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है कि आज उन्होंने अपना कीमती वक्त हमारे लिए निकाला है और हमारे दर्शकों के साथ एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन पॉडकास्ट करने वाले हैं। सो वेलकम उषा जी, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी कि आप हमारे पॉडकास्ट में आज आए। एंड मैं चाहूँगी कि मैंने आपको बहुत ही एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है, बट आप अपने बारे में हमारे दर्शकों को प्लीज़ कुछ बताएं।
Thank you, Satvika, for inviting me to Nanni Dunya, and it's a pleasure to be here because this is almost like a historical place. और बहुत खुशी हो रही है यहाँ के ये पूरा इंस्टीट्यूशन देख के मुझे तब पता चलता है कि हमने जितना भी काम किया वो बहुत छोटा है।
अरे नहीं।
जब हम बड़े काम देखते हैं और हिस्टोरिकल काम देखते हैं और हिस्ट्री में देखते हैं पीछे कि कितने लोगों ने क्या क्या नहीं किया, तो तब हमको समझ में आता है कि अभी तो हमारे पास बहुत सारे फैसिलिटीज़ हैं, फिर उसको सब जमा करके हम थोड़ा बहुत कुछ कर ही पाते हैं। लेकिन उस ज़माने में जब कुछ भी नहीं था और लोग इतनी मेहनत करते थे और कैसे वो लोग फाइट करते थे हर चीज़ से, तो वो देख के बहुत इंस्पायर होता है मुझे भी। और आई थिंक ये भारत देश का ही एक यूनिक नेचर है कि क्योंकि हम शक्ति को पूजते हैं और हमारी देवियाँ इतनी स्ट्रांग होती हैं, तो हम लोगों में भी एक वो फाइटिंग स्पिरिट और स्ट्रेंथ आ ही जाता है। हाँ, हम सीता भी बन सकते हैं कभी और फॉलो कर सकते हैं, या फिर पेशेंस भी रख सकते हैं, या तो फिर हम द्रौपदी के जैसे लड़ भी सकते हैं। सो ऑल दीज क्वालिटीज़, ये सारी क्वालिटीज़ हमें अपने आप ही आ जाती हैं क्योंकि हम बचपन से ही उसको सुन के देख के समझ के हम बड़े होते हैं। और रहा मेरा बात, तो एक्चुअली मैं एक वेरी ऑर्डिनरी नॉर्मल स्टूडेंट हूँ जो स्कूल में पढ़ती थी। हाँ, बिकॉज हम साउथ इंडियन हैं और हमारे घरों में अपने आप आर्ट एंड कल्चर सिखाना यानी ज़रूरी ही है। तो आप 3 साल के हो तो डांस क्लास भेज देंगे, आप 4-5 साल के हो जाओगे तो वोकल म्यूज़िक सिखा देंगे या कुछ वायलिन सिखा देंगे, लड़के हैं तो मृदंगम सिखा देंगे, कुछ ना कुछ तो यानी इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर ग्रोइंग अप। तो ये नहीं है कि आप प्रोफेशनल डांसर बनोगी या आप कुछ स्टार बनोगी, ऐसे कोई थॉट नहीं होता है।
बस सीड जरूर डाल दें।
हाँ, बस सिखाना ज़रूरी है कि आप समझे, क्योंकि माय ग्रैंडमदर सेड कि डांस सीखने में और स्कूल जाने में बहुत फ़र्क है। वाइल स्कूल में हमको हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, सिविक सब सिखाते हैं, हम एक डांस का पीस सीखेंगे तो हम ये सारे सब्जेक्ट्स इकट्ठा एक बार सीख लेते हैं। तो हर कॉम्पोजिशन का कौन है कंपोज़र, तो उसके वी कम टू नो लिटरेचर, लैंग्वेज, फिर वो कहाँ पैदा हुआ, उसने वो कहाँ लिखा, तो यू कम टू नो ज्योग्राफी, फिर वो उसका हिस्टोरिकल एविडेंस क्या है, वो कब और क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है उसकी हिस्ट्री में, तो यू लर्न हिस्ट्री। ये सारी सब्जेक्ट्स आप एक ही साथ में सीख लेते हो एक कॉम्पोजिशन सीखने से। सो आई एंड ऑल्सो इट्स अ वेरी वेल राउंडेड थिंग एंड इट्स मोर ग्रेसफुल, इट्स मोर एस्थेटिक, लर्निंग इज ऑल्सो एस्थेटिक। सो शी सेड डांस सीखना ही चाहिए या कोई आर्ट फॉर्म सीखना ही चाहिए। तो वो उसी में शुरू हुआ स्कूल और वो सब चलता गया। और जब मैं कॉलेज में आई तो मुझे बैंकर बनने की बड़ी इच्छा थी।
अच्छा।
हाँ, उस ज़माने में सब लोग बैंक में काम करना चाहते थे और इंटरनेशनल बैंक्स खुल रहे थे यहाँ पे, तो इट वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड एंड सिटी बैंक एंड HSBC और ये सब। तो मैंने 12th में कॉमर्स लेके किया था और काफ़ी ठीक ठाक ही मार्क्स आए थे, 83% या ऐसे कुछ आए थे। लेकिन जो बीकॉम के लिए सीट था, क्योंकि इट वाज लुक्ड फॉरवर्ड टू बाय मेनी पीपल सीए करने के लिए, तो बाय सम 2-3% 85% पे रोक दिया और मुझे सीट नहीं मिली। तो बड़ा बुरा लगा उस समय में। तो माय मदर सेड बिकॉज हमारे घर में एक परंपरा है जर्नलिज्म की। माय ग्रैंडफादर वाज अ जर्नलिस्ट एंड ही वाज अडॉप्टेड बाय अ foreigner who was also a journalist who started the first newspaper in Bombay called the Bombay Sentinel. His name is Benjamin Guy Horniman, and there is a Horniman circle in Bombay even today. So because journalism and English literature was so important, my mother said आप वो क्यों नहीं करती हैं, आप English literature करिए, आप फिर बाद में journalism कर सकती हैं। So what if you can't work in a bank? So I said, yeah, that sounds a good idea, you know, and then I can do my dance also, I can learn music also, I can just be in that space and not in the rush of getting big percentages every time and, you know, struggling to come up. So this would be a cool effort for me, and I took English literature and I did my BA and then I did my journalism. At that time there was no post graduation in journalism, there was only a diploma which I did, and started working in newspaper and continued my dance along with it. My family was not the kind that they would allow me to become a professional dancer on the stage. Yeah, we did a few performances just for our love. And because we also want to wear the costume, and we also want to look pretty.
Form?
I learnt Bharatanatyam primarily, and then I also learnt Kuchipudi.
Acha.
And then for both styles, you need music, because if you want to ever teach in your life, you should know how to sing your songs.
Yeah.
So I learned the basics of Carnatic music just to sort of support me in that. And then through journalism, I started reviewing dance, and so my editor one day said, "You know dance, why don't you review?" So I said, young writer, 18 years old, I mean, which senior dancer is going to say, you review my program? They'll trash me, I said. He said, no, you write, why are you bothered? So then I started writing in newspapers about art and dance and, you know, music and all that. Though I concentrated on dance because that's my primary subject. जो नहीं पता है उसके बारे में लिखना नहीं चाहिए, और या तो सीख के लिखो. तो that went on, but then we also want that we have to live, right? And writing art criticism will not continue my life, so I had to find a living. And those were the days when art and culture was promoted heavily by all the corporates. And ITC was one of the biggest sponsors of because surrogate advertising कर सकते थे, they would sponsor some of the biggest festivals of art and culture. And so I met one of the vice chairmen at one time in some program, and he said, would you like to become a retainer for us? So you organize our festivals. So I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So then I started moving into organizing. Also, I was seeing that the organizing level of art and culture was very like a cottage industry, you know. एक सभा या एक ग्रुप रहता था और वो कल्चरल प्रोग्राम करते थे, तो वो एकदम से यू नो वेरी सैड वे में होता था. एक स्टेज में ना कोई नीटनेस था, कोई बैकड्रॉप अच्छा नहीं होता था, कोई भी बैनर चिपका देते थे. इट यूज्ड टू लुक वेरी बैड. एंड देन आर्टिस्ट का जो देखभाल करना है, जिसे उनको पिकअप करना है, उनको क्या ज़रूरतें हैं, उनको ग्रीन रूम में क्या चाहिए, उनको स्टेज पे क्या चाहिए, उनको क्या टाइप ऑफ साउंड चाहिए, कुछ नहीं, कोई कुछ नहीं पूछता था. आर्टिस्ट आता था, बैठता था, वो परफॉर्म करता था या नाचता था और वो चले जाते थे. फिर वो लोग
रिस्पेक्ट नहीं मिल रही
नहीं. फिर वो बाद में मुझे बोलते थे, यू नो उषा, आई विश दे हैड डन दिस, आई विश दे हैड पुट सम लाइट हियर, आई विश दे हैड यू नो गॉट अस बेटर साउंड सिस्टम. वो कुछ अनाउंसमेंट ठीक नहीं होता था, कोई एक आदमी आता था, कुछ अनाउंस करता था और वो शुरू हो जाता था. फिर मैंने कहा कॉर्पोरेट इवेंट्स जो भी मैं करूँगी, it should have a class and it should be different. And also when you introduce the artist, you're not going to just say he was born in the year 1957, and that is not the biodata that you want to read, you know. So then I started talking to artists. I would speak to Hari Prasad Chaurasia. I would ask him, sir, आपने कैसे शुरू किया, आप क्या बजाने वाले हैं आज, what is your first rag, आप क्या सोचते हैं इस रागों के बारे में, ऐसे कुछ यू नो इन्फॉर्मेशन. एंड दैट वुड बिकम माई कॉम्पेयरिंग. सो देन इवन द कॉम्पेयरिंग लुक्ड डिफरेंट, you know. And then how to create a visual picture of music. You're listening to flute, so what do you expect the audience to understand? क्या वो कोई हिंदी गाना से रिलेटेड होना चाहिए था, या वो कौन समझ रहा है ऑडियंस में कि ये क्या राग बजा रहे हैं, ये क्या है ये. बट एक विजुअल पिक्चर देने से कि ये अगर पहाड़ी धुन बजा रहे हैं, तो इफ यू क्लोज योर आइज यू शुड फील यूर इन द हिल्स. और इफ ही इज प्लेइंग समथिंग ऑन विंड, then you actually feel the cool breeze on your face. ये सब जब हम डिस्क्राइब करते थे तो people enjoyed the music more. And I remember Hari ji telling me कि आप बड़ा अच्छा बोल लेती हैं, आप तो हमारे बजाने से पहले आप पूरा सेट कर देती हैं. So I found that very encouraging and I started working a lot on that. Then the whole scenario of art and classical arts changed and it started looking very 5-star, and we started making it look good. And I enjoyed myself doing all that hard work. Was very important. And because I come from the art field, humility, treating the artist with a lot of care, ये नहीं कि हाँ ठीक है, not like that, you have to be humble in front of them. आप उनके जूते भी उठाने से कतरा नहीं सकते हैं. They are great artists, वो legends हैं. तो you have to submit yourself to them when you do their program. स्टेज कैसा सुंदर करना चाहिए और आर्टिस्ट को कैसे इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए, उनकी देखभाल कैसी करनी चाहिए, क्या उनको गर्म दूध चाहिए या उनको साइलेंस चाहिए ग्रीन रूम में उनको क्या चाहिए, वो नीचे बैठेंगे या सोफा पे बैठेंगे, उनको तानपूरा फिक्स करना है. ये सारी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें जो आप आर्ट वर्ल्ड में हैं तो आप जानते ही हैं ये सब, तो अपने आप वो सारा फैसिलिटेशन करेंगे. जब उनको पिकअप करेंगे उनको कंफर्ट लेवल भी बनता है कि ये जानते हैं कि हमको क्या चाहिए होता है और इनको बोलने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं है. जैसे कोई कहता नहीं है कि मेरे को वाइट कपड़ा चाहिए स्टेज पे, कोई नहीं बोलता हमको, बिकॉज दे नो कि हम जानते हैं इस चीज़ को. या डांसर्स नहीं बोलते हैं कि मुझे नटराजा चाहिए स्टेज पे, दे नो कि उषा जी तो डांसर हैं, वो खुद ही रख देंगी.
इज इट ऑल्सो बिकॉज आप एक आर्टिस्ट हैं तो आपको एक आर्टिस्ट की कदर करनी आती है, और बिकॉज लोग जब आर्टिस्ट खुद नहीं होते तो उन्हें नहीं पता होता कि एक आर्टिस्ट को कैसे रिस्पेक्ट दी जाए. डू यू थिंक दिस मेक्स अ डिफरेंस?
रिस्पेक्ट तो सब देते हैं, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दे डोंट रिस्पेक्ट, बट वो फाइन ट्यूनिंग या फाइनर रिक्वायरमेंट्स जो होती हैं, एक सेंसिटिविटी जो होता है वो नहीं होता है. They, and also because they are their own personalities. I remember TV Star was announcing for Kishori Amonkarji at Siri Fort Auditorium. I had just gone to see the program and I was standing in the side wing. And then he came on the stage, and because he's a TV star, he was, he introduced himself and then he spoke about the musician and something, and there was a lot of sort of I, me, myself in his behavior. And that's not what the artist wants. The artist wants the I, me, myself to be them.
True.
And you are just telling people who we are. So you have to undercut yourself. You have to underplay yourself in that situation. While you may be the greatest of stars, but when you are there, you are doing a different role. So she immediately looked at the side like that, and I was standing there, and I was not even dressed to go on stage, but she just said, "Usha, come here," she said. So I went inside. I thought she wants something. Actually, she's speaking into the mic so that everybody can hear what she's saying. So I said, "Yes, Sai." So she said, she said to me in Marathi, "You tell about me. Ata tu sang. Okay, you speak, you say about my music. You say," she said. I found it very embarrassing, And that boy was standing. He's a very big TV star. Then he sort of moved aside, and then I spoke about her music and about how she struggled to become a musician and how her mother was so great and how she grew up in that shadow. So today you see how all the young ones of great stars, how tough it is for them to prove themselves, because they're often compared to their elders. So all these things, I just spoke about that, and I said she's going to today begin with this rag. And then everybody clapped. So she said to me later, she said, "See what a difference it makes. Your passion for music and your passion and your, idolizing me helps when you speak about me, and then you are in such deep thought to how to make Kishori ji how to make everybody feel that she is so great." That is the passion that we have. Here we are not coming to tell them that she's a great singer and please listen to her. That's not the point. The point is that how you are trying to make the audience feel one with her.
Also heart to heart connection एक audience के बीच में आपको create करना चाहिए कि this is an artist,
तो वो सब ऐसे हो जाते हैं फिर. See, you have to bring the audience in front. You can't make them say, "हाँ ठीक है, गाना गाएगी, सुनेंगे." No, that's not the attitude. So there is a lot that goes on at the side. And then one very famous violinist, Lalgudi Jayaraman from the South, he explained to me certain things when I was very young. He said that he used to play like a main player also, and he used to also accompany others. So if there is a vocal concert, he will accompany at the side. So he said, Usha, we have to learn how to be at the side. And that's such an important thing. When you are an accompanist, you are only accompany. You're not the main artist. You must learn how to be in the side wings. Learn that, he said to me. He said, it's not you. It's the main artist and it is the other artists. And you are just there to facilitate them. So remember that you will be there, but you are not there. So these kind of lessons from great people, how to deal with the stage, how to behave at the stage, how not to disturb their thinking before coming to the stage, how to give them that space. All this is very important. A normal organizer, unfortunately, will not be so sensitive. He will be shouting. He'll say, "Arey, pani la ke rakho yahan. Arey, wo dekha nahi." But that's not what they expect. They expect everything to be calm. And then they expect them to ask, Pandit ji, aapko pani chahiye? They want that. They don't want somebody shouting around them. They want that calmness. Because you have to understand that whoever is performing on stage is creating something there. It is not something they practiced and came from home. They just learn a format. Then they come there and they are creating on the spot many of the times. And you will notice, like if you see Zakir Bhai playing tabla, you will see him looking like this many times. You look at the videos while he's playing, he's looking. So all the numbers are in front of the eyes, they are calculating there. You at that time, if you just come and cut the thought, or somebody walks in front of the seat and sits, or some child jumps, it just cuts them, though they are so great that they still continue their thing. But that is the sensitivity of the way you have to be. And these are the things which I learned from great people, from my mother, who taught me कि artist है तो पैर छूना चाहिए, artist है तो ये करना चाहिए, you can't be standing like that, you should be like this, body language क्या होना चाहिए किसी के सामने. ये सीखते सीखते मेरे को भी कई साल लग गए. और this is what helped me in every field. It's not only there, even in a corporate company, you go in and you're standing in front of your boss and the first thing you say, yes sir. So one of my bosses, a wonderful guy called Ravi Kiran Sahu, he said to me, he said, Usha, please call me Ravi, he said. So I said, sir, but then in front of everybody, if I say Ravi, it will look odd for you. No? Let me say sir, let it be, I said. So then he just smiled. Even Sandeep Goyal in ZTV, he said, Usha man, I mean, everybody calls me Sandeep and Sandy and what have you. And what is this Mr. Goyal or sir? Don't say like that. He comes from advertising background. It's so common that you just call by first name. Yeah. But I just stuck to my thing, because I remembered one day there was a chairman and there was, that is Subhash Chandra ji and Sandeep standing there. And some girl just came there and said, hey Sandeep, you know what? So the chairman just looked at her like that and looked at him. So, I mean, you can't show that familiarity. So then you have to know where not to do it and where to do it. Then habitually you start doing that. I am a very prim and proper person. I feel that you have to respect the seat where they're sitting, where the position that they are in. And they are something over you. Otherwise, they won't be sitting in that seat there. So you will, like the director of your film or your shoot or whatever, you will say sir to them. He may be your closest friend, but still you'll say order sir. Why? Because that is the sir. He is the captain of the ship. True. And you have to give them that, that position and that respect. So respect तो सब लोग करते हैं, but किस तरीके से करते हैं वो बदलता है.
आपको ऐसा लगता है कि पहले जो आर्टिस्ट थे उनकी कम रिस्पेक्ट होती थी या उनको कम तवज्जो दी जाती थी और अब ज़्यादा दी जाती है? Do you see a lot of change now in the audience and how they're treated and everything now?
See,
like if you compare,
as we made our arts more, glamorous, I'll say, automatically the behavioral patterns change. And today's day and age is different. Yeah. Even in the 90s, if you see, there was so much of press coverage and television had started. So people started coming on TV, there were interviews, all this happened. So as and when now today you have social media, so you're constantly seen. But with all this, what has actually changed is that the depth of the forms, the depth of the work has come down. You know, today you don't find that kind of in-depth knowledge that the person who is performing or displaying shows or presenting shows, because everything is over the top, you know, everything is here, and it's all about how much I'm seen and how much I'm speaking and how much I'm dressing and how many lights I have, and I mean, come on, yeah.
And how many likes I have on Instagram, and
exactly. And you go to the stage program, then they'll say, I want lights here, I want lights there, I want this sound, I want this monitor, I want this sensitivity, I want mid, high, low, this, that. There was nothing like that, believe me.
Is it also because it is more for social media now? कि अभी हम social media पे हमें करना है तो हमें likes और ये सब, but वो एक जैसे कहते थे सरस्वती एक तपस्या है,
वो नहीं रहा,
and वो गुरु भी तो नहीं रहे ना, जैसे अब
सब टीचर्स बन गए हैं, अब टीचर और
it's more for money, and
there's a lot of change. Yes, you still find some of the good ones. I mean, some of them who are grounded, who have got hardcore training, who still follow those principles. They are there, and they have brought a fine balance between, the way of today and the way of teaching of yesteryears. They brought a nice balance to it. There are many such gurus and teachers, but the generation that is coming up is a very quick generation. They want right from Maggie onwards, we want everything in 2 minutes. No, we don't have the time. We need to become a star right now. We need to show that. For us, we think that at least 10 to 15 years minimum training होगा तो तब आप स्टेज पे चढ़ सकते हो, लेकिन आज तो हम 6 महीने में स्टेज में चढ़ना चाहते हैं। मैंने 2 असाइनमेंट्स किए तो तीसरे असाइनमेंट में मैं स्टार बन गई, मुझे AC चाहिए, वो चाहिए। And Bhimsen ji said to me one day, he said, at the age of 60 I became famous. So which means right from his mid-20s to 40s to 50s, where his voice was at the peak of his life, at that time he was not so famous, and then he became very, very famous after 50. So you really have to wait. You have to wait it out. You have to sustain it. You have to be consistent in performance. You have to keep on performing well. Only then you were recognized. Today, I do too. I mean, I keep getting applications from kids who keep sending me their videos, YouTube videos and links and what have you. And there's no consistency. एक प्रोग्राम जैसा दूसरा नहीं है। एक प्रोग्राम में थोड़ा सा शाइन हो गए तो उनको लगा कि नहीं, मैं सब जानती हूँ, और गुरु के साथ टिकते नहीं हैं। They leave the teachers. They think बस मैंने बहुत सीख लिया।
I remember मैंने कथक सीखा है, मैंने मधुकर आनंद जी से सीखा था, और वो बिरजू महाराज जी के स्टूडेंट थे। तो पहले 1-1.5 साल ना वो सिर्फ तत्कार ही कराते रहे हमें जी, और हमें छोटे थे, हमें समझ नहीं आता, हम कहते थे गुरुजी आगे सिखा दो, कहते थे नहीं यही करना है। और अब मुझे समझ आता है कि वो नींव हमारी इतनी उन्होंने स्ट्रॉन्ग कर दी थी कि अगर हम चाह के भी हम ना ले के बाहर नहीं जा पाते, मतलब सो वो तब छोटे थे तो समझ नहीं आता था, बट मतलब और वो छोटी छोटी चीजें, जैसे हम क्लास में जा रहे हैं तो पैर छुएंगे अच्छे से, दोनों हाथों से छुएंगे। आजकल बच्चे जैसे आधे में ही उठ जाते हैं, दोनों छुएंगे, सर पे लगाएंगे, दिल पे लगाएंगे, नमस्ते करेंगे, गुरु पूर्णिमा बनाएंगे, सरस्वती जी की पूजा करेंगे, घुंघरू की पूजा करेंगे। तो वो कल्चर मुझे काफी मिसिंग लगता है।
नहीं, पर समय ही नहीं है किसी को करने के लिए। वो तो इतने रश में होते हैं ना कि क्लास लिया 1.5 घंटे का या 1 घंटे का क्लास होता है, उसमें वो भाग भाग के आते हैं कहीं बस, और वो सब पकड़ के आते हैं, तो दे आर इन अ कॉम्पिटिशन एजिटेशन मोड। और फिर क्लास में वो भी तो देखना है कि कौन मेरे से बेहतर कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है। ये हेल्दी कंपटीशन होना चाहिए ऑलवेज, बट वी कैन नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज और ourselves and the form of what we are learning at any cost. Okay, so if you see all my programs, I am very particular that the dancers should not compromise or even move away from the form that it is. So you can't just put some movement into it and change it and do what you like with it. कोई भी चीज को तोड़ मरोड़ नहीं करना चाहिए। आज भी आप संगीत के फील्ड में आप देखिए, कोई भी म्यूजिशियन जो वो सीखता है, जैसे वो उसका फॉर्मेट है, उससे वो लोग परे कभी नहीं जाते हैं। ये थोड़ा डांस में ही है कि हम इनोवेटिव बन गए। इनोवेशन का मतलब वो नहीं है कि आप आप थॉट में इनोवेट करिए ना, आपको स्टाइल को खराब करने में क्या मिल जाएगा. That's what I believe. So the field they joke with me saying तो आप तो अभी भी पुराने ज़माने के हैं. तो मुझे तो एक ऑफिस में मैंने एक लड़की को बोला कि बच्चा ये ड्रेस तुम्हारा बहुत शॉर्ट है और यहाँ पे लड़के लोग भी बैठे हैं कमरे के अंदर, छोटा सा कमरा था, तो 4 लड़कियां इस तरफ, 2-4 लड़के यहाँ, और मैं भी वहीं बैठती थी. तो मैंने कहा ये टी शर्ट तुम्हारा रोज ऊपर जाता रहता है, लोग पीछे से देख रहे हैं, तो आपको थोड़ा यानी एक साइज बड़ा पहनना चाहिए. मैंने कहा तो शी सेइंग आप तो मुगले आजम की जमाने की हैं. शी सेड टू मी. आई सेड इट्स ओके इफ आई एम मुगले आजम, बट हियर आई डोंट वांट एनीथिंग टू हैपन, सो यू विल वेयर दिस एंड कम, अदरवाइज यू कैन गो होम. आई सेड. So then next day she started wearing a little bit longer shirt and coming to office. And I'm not against, I was born in Bombay, I grew up in the most modern city of India, but that does not mean that you don't know appropriateness. एक औचित्य होता है ना. आप स्विमिंग पूल में तो साड़ी पहन के नहीं कूदेंगे. Correct. If you're going somewhere for a cultural program or you're going for a classical program, you know how to dress. You're going to a discotheque, I don't expect you to wear 9-yard sari or 6-yard sari. I'll expect you to wear something short and, you know, to suit that occasion and what is convenient over there. You have to learn how to dress. Modernity does not mean that you forget what you have to wear, where and how, you know. That should not be the case. In almost all parts of our culture, हमारी जो संस्कृति है उसमें जो parts हैं, आज के ज़माने में everybody is doing घर वापसी to it. They're all returning back to it because they're understanding that there is some value. You get a child, then you know that अरे मेरी बिटिया है तो कोई उसको देखना नहीं चाहिए. तो तब आपको समझ में आता है कि ड्रेस ऐसे पहनेंगे तो कोई अट्रैक्ट नहीं होगा या वो अननेसेसरी अट्रैक्शन नहीं होगा, तो बेटा ये जरा ठीक से पहनो. Then you understand all that. So it takes time for people also to mature. But I think there is one set of people who are, you know, who went haywire because of Western exposure. But now I think we are again coming back to all that. So it's a very welcome time now.
History repeats itself.
Yeah, and today it's happening with modernity. So they are bringing a nice balance between, you know, internet and this modern approach and social media and all this thing along with our culture. I mean, one of my recent programs was in Bombay, and well-known choreographer and dancer Sandeep Soparkar had come for the program. And he loves classical dancing, so he came to see. And then he has written almost some 6 write-ups about it. One page write-up in Pune Times and here, there, and the other. So this is a good time. When did ever classical dance get this kind of visibility, you know? And it is people like Sandeep and new age people who are actually understanding the value of our culture and who are saying that no, this also should get some visibility. So these are very good times, I think. Very good, well-balanced times for us.
अच्छा, जैसे बहुत सारी अचीवमेंट्स आपकी लाइफ में रही हैं, बट आई एम श्योर कि कुछ ना कुछ कठिनाइयाँ भी रही होंगी. पर्सनली भी रह सकती हैं, प्रोफेशनली भी रह सकती हैं. एंड मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि आजकल का जो यूथ है वो बहुत जल्दी हार मान लेता है और डिप्रेशन में चला जाता है. सो डू यू हैव स्टोरी लाइक दिस ऑल्सो, दैट यू वेंट थ्रू अ हार्ड टाइम इन लाइफ एंड देन you overcame it and you know you just went on and on, something kept you going always?
There is nobody's life which does not have travails and you know issues.
True.
Or difficulties. It is always up and down, no? So sun will go up in the morning and come down in the night. So there is this circular thing that keeps going. And I think by nature we have to build ourselves. It's not that every time a problem comes I'm going to crash. It can't happen. Sometimes when you get less marks, that in school age, that is the crash, right? That you get less percentage. What do? You start working hard. You say, how can she get more than me? I have to get 80% or I have to get 90%. So you work hard to it. So there is a, you know, spring back in human nature, in the body itself, you know, and the mind and everything is tuned to that you have to get up and fight. So when that is there, I find that there is no need फॉर एनीबडी टू थिंक दैट अभी इसके साथ मेरे को एक असाइनमेंट नहीं मिला, मेरा पूरा काम तमाम हो गया, नहीं होता है वैसे. देयर इज ऑलवेज अ मॉर्निंग, देयर इज ऑलवेज अ रेनबो एट द एंड ऑफ द टनल और व्हाटएवर. एंड इवन इफ यू डोंट वांट टू टेक ऑल दीज सेइंग्स, ऐसे वो सब कहावत हैं यार, छोड़ो, वो सब होता नहीं है. मेरे लाइफ में तो सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम ही प्रॉब्लम आए हैं. एंड आई हियर दिस ऑफ्टन फ्रॉम यंगस्टर्स, दैट मेरा तो कुछ नहीं बनने वाला, मेरा तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला. But let me tell them that life is not easy for anybody.
True.
हाँ, so somebody said to me, आपका तो क्या है मैम, आपको तो आपके पास गाड़ी है, ड्राइवर है, घर है, सब कुछ है. तो excuse me, I bought a own house at the age of 63. I waited for so long. I never had a own house. I lived in rented house all my life. I struggled all my life. There were months when I always thought कि अगले महीने का रेंट मैं कहाँ से भरूंगी. नौकरी ढूंढती रही हर बार, कैसे मैनेज करेंगे, कितना कम में जी सकते हैं. एज ऑफ 50 I said how to live in less. So cut off all expenses. कि कम में कैसे जिएंगे उषा, ये सोचो पहले. तो कम में जीने का भी सोच रखना पड़ा था मुझे. और फिर जब कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आता है, अगर हम गिव अप करेंगे तो ठीक है, ओके फाइन, यू आर ओवर देन. And what will you do? You will end your life. That's all you'll do. You don't respect the life that has been given to you. And let me tell you, how much ever you try to end your life, it will go only when it has to go. True. आपके और मेरे सोचने से जान नहीं निकलती है. और बस इतना होगा कि आप ऊपर से कूदोगे और पैर टूटेगा, इससे ज्यादा नहीं होने वाला है. लेकिन अगर आपका वो समय आ गया है तो वो आप जाने ही वाले हो. आप 25 में जाओ या 40 में जाओ या 60 में जाओ या 80 में जाओ, जब वो समय आएगा तभी आप जाओगे. तो आपको अभी इतनी कोशिश करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मैं जाऊं unnecessarily or bringing something into your life which is not scheduled right now. आपका जब स्केड्यूल होगा तो आप अपने आप जाओगे. तो अभी अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम आया है तो आप क्या कोशिश करोगे? डॉक्टर यही कहता है कि मैम पहले हम जान बचाते हैं, उसके बाद हम देखते हैं कि आपका लाइफ सिंपल कैसे हो या ये प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व हो. बट ये हम नहीं सोचते कि पहले हम ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेंगे, जान जाए तो जाए. नहीं, फर्स्ट इज लाइफ. एंड एज यू से from 2006 to 2014, almost 8 years, I've had huge medical issues. I've had a surgery every year. So 8 surgeries in 8 years. And every time one surgery would happen, and it would be big ones like 12 hours and what have you. And, I would then recover. And then the next one, some issue would come up. Then the third one would come up. And at some point, it was so tough on me that I had a problem with something called endometriosis. I'm not a science student. I wouldn't understand what's going on in my body. And the doctor would say something and I would just believe the doctor what he's saying because we have 200% faith in them. And then I had to sacrifice a part of my intestine, and they put a colostomy bag, which means my stools would collect in a bag. And that's not the kind of life anybody wants to live. And so this cleaning the bag and, it's not the greatest of experiences. And constantly psychologically mind is saying, कि ये क्या लाइफ हो गया यार तेरा, यानी तू डिप्रेशन में जाने के लिए all the ingredients were very well prepared for me. कि I could have just dipped into it, and said कि my life is over.
Yeah.
But that's not what the body actually is made up of. Body is made up of springing back. And that slight energy you put into it, even this much, half inch also, will then, like a springboard, it will go up. But that little bit thing, that step you only have to put. You have to put your step forward. Unless you put your step forward, it's not going to happen. And all the time by thinking कि नहीं मेरी जिंदगी खत्म हो जाएगी, कुछ अच्छा नहीं होने वाला है. So it's better that you think positive. You move a little bit, move your back, as they say, and then you'll see that it is giving you that springboard. So then this whole colostomy bag thing happened. For 2 years I was wearing a skirt, and that's not my usual dress, and I was feeling awkward that at the age of close to 50 I'm suddenly wearing a skirt. What would people think? ये क्या reverse order में जा रही है, क्या कपड़े पहन रही है, अटपटे से हैं. Because our social psychology says कि इस उम्र में यही टाइप के कपड़े पहनने चाहिए लेडीज को, यानी लेडीज नहीं ऐसे ड्रेस कर सकती हैं, ये सब भी थॉट्स हैं. तो because we are brought up in societal pressure all the time, so we think कि क्या लोग क्या सोचेंगे. I said सोचे तो सोचने, बैग तो मुझे ही संभालना है और वो इतना लंबा बैग है तो उसको I can't wear anything else. So I was struggling with it. And then I thought to myself, I said, you know, Usha, we have to figure out a way कि ये बैग चला जाए और हमारा नॉर्मल हो जाए लाइफ, तो कितना बेहतर होगा. Then I started doing research. Almost 2 years I worked so hard to find out all these things, and then I told my doctor I found the solution. I was telling a doctor I found a solution, and he laughed. He said it is there but there's no guarantee. I said no problem. सबसे बुरा क्या हो जाएगा हमारे लाइफ में? जान जाएगी ना, इससे आगे तो कुछ नहीं. He said नहीं, इसमें जान नहीं जाएगी, you'll have to continue the way you're living. I said चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं, अब तो मैं वैसे ही रह रही हूँ. एक छोटा सा कोशिश करने से अगर हमारा लाइफ नॉर्मलाइज हो जाए तो वो तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, तो चलो लेट्स ट्राई. सो ही सेड यू हैव टू साइन अ पेपर. आई सेड या आई विल साइन द पेपर. सो वी साइंड द, आई साइंड द पेपर एंड देन दे डिड द सर्जरी अगेन एंड इट बिकेम नॉर्मल. So from a time when I was in coma for 6 days and they thought I'm going to die, and if they remove the ventilator I will go, from that time to a time when I could just live a normal life. So this was almost about 3-year period that I went through. So from almost going away from this world to coming back to a normal situation, not with the bag but without the bag, that took a lot of effort from me. And where do you get inspiration from? The people who are around you. So you remember what your parents teach you. You remember what your father says कि खड़े हो जाओ और जाओ, लड़ो जिंदगी. You remember what your mother says कि छोटे छोटे तरीकों से ही खुशियाँ मिलती हैं. आज के लिए इतना मिला तो ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. See, these are the small sayings that your parents and grandparents say. So just recollect all that. See your friends, get inspiration from friends, talk to people. The biggest thing about depression is that you have to talk. And you've seen so many film stars and great people talking about depression, famous people talking about depression. You have to come out. You have to let it out of your system. Once you start talking about it, you'll find that it's almost gone. Because sharing is the most potent tool for depression, to come out of it. Because what you hear from the other person is what will make you come out. And so this lot of good friends, I mean, lot of good friends I have who supported me, family supported me. Though not, I mean, I would say that even in workspace, people supported me. You know, they said, no, you can go away early, you can take a break, you can, you work from home for a few days. All these things that I recollect today are just for my support they did. So that worked. But then
also you have belief in yourself that you'll come out of it. Do you think that?
I have great belief. Yeah, I'm a very spiritual person. So I believe that everything is preordained. You read any book, you read any spiritual book or philosophical book across the globe, whether it's America or Europe or any country, and you'll find that somewhere spirituality says that everything is preordained. Everything is a design. Everything that happens to you, who you meet, how you behave, what you do, what good things come to your life, all these things are preordained. You'll never imagine that, अच्छा ये इसको तो मैं पहले मिल चुकी हूँ, अच्छा यही मुझे कुछ help करने वाला है. We never think all that when we make friends, but everything has got a very beautiful aesthetic design to it, and somehow it all works out. So we have belief in the fact that good things are happening, and it's not doomsday right now. And then you automatically start emerging out of situations. You know, that just that little bit of a trigger to take you up one step is that calm and spirituality. And spirituality is not for old people. It's not for the 60 plus. Spirituality is actually for the young. आप अगर अभी मेडिटेशन करके अपने आप को काम नहीं करोगे तो आप आगे जाके क्या कर पाओगे? You have to have faith in yourself and control in yourself. So if youngsters, you see those who practice yoga, how they are able to do so much, how they are able to bend like that, how they are able to focus, and all these things are coming because of a tuning that they are creating inside the body. And if all your chakras are aligned, as they say, and I understand that children of today may not want to understand what is this chakras and what is all this. But there has to be an alignment in the body when you walk. If all the four wheels of a car are not going in the same direction, will the car move forward?
No.
So the same thing in our body. If everything is not moving in one direction, you have to hold it together and move. Automatically you will move forward. So problems will come. So I managed to, from 114 kilos to lose weight to come to 85. So I think
But by seeing you, you look so graceful and
anything is
classy.
possible.
किसी को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि कोई सर्जरी हुई है, कोई difficulty हुई है, कोई depression था, because you're so beautiful as a person. You know, I'm learning so much. I think
the last one is this brand new headdress that I'm wearing now, and everybody says, "Wow, it's looking great, and you're looking fabulous. This is a nice trend you're creating." But actually, I've had a major head surgery, and there was a cyst on my head which we removed, and because of which there are stitches all across my head, on the entire head. So almost 90 stitches.
Oh my God.
And now my hair is growing, and I'm waiting for it to come back to normalcy.
You look absolutely beautiful. I mean, you look exceptional, you look different, and you look very classy. I'm very inspired personally.
Thank you for your kind, lovely, beautiful, kind words. But I think my whole life is like a teaching for people that even after many upheavals of life or attacks on your life, as I would call it, like, you know, something comes onto you without you knowing it. And when it comes and descends on you, the next thing you say is, okay, let's get on with it. You know, let's move on. What's going to happen? The worst thing that can happen to anybody is that you will die. No, beyond that, there's nothing worse that can happen. So if you are prepared, ओके तो क्या है, कल चले जाएंगे, कोई बात नहीं, बट आज तो अच्छा से जिए, आज तो खुश रहें, आज तो ये मौसम का यू नो लुफ्त मजा लें. आई मीन व्हाई नॉट? टुडे गॉड हैज गिवन यू दिस मेनी आवर्स, you enjoy the best of it, eat whatever you feel like, drink whatever you feel like, go out for see the place, interact with people and all that. फिर कल चले जाएंगे तो कोई बात नहीं, कोई ये तो नहीं, रंजिश तो नहीं रहेगी कि नहीं यार मैंने रह गया तो keep doing it. And almost every day I think, no, कल हो ना हो, I think of the song, I think of the film and say, we really don't know what's coming our way. You know, I was returning back on a flight from Bombay in January, and I just touched my head like that. Actually, I was scratching my head, and I just looked at it and I said, "There's some bump here. Kya hai?" So I went to see. It was a cyst. Then they said it could be malignant, it could be cancerous. So biopsy, all this. So it went on like that, and I thought to myself, "कोई बात नहीं. अच्छा ठीक है, malignant हो गया तो क्या हो जाएगा? जाएंगे. बस ठीक है. इस उम्र में ही जाने का लिखा होगा तो no problem. So be prepared for the worst always." If you're prepared for the worst, the maximum that can happen to you is that.
But I think you're a very courageous woman also, ना? That matters, ना? लोगों में ना courage और risk लेने की power ही नहीं होती, तो वो पहुंच ही नहीं पाते वहाँ तक.
तो वो तो actually God gift है, सब में है, सब में है. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है. आप गिरोगे तो आप उठोगे ही और संभल के फिर लिम्प करके भी चलोगे ही.
चलोगे, हाँ.
लेकिन आप कर ही रहे हो, लेकिन आप उसको रिकग्नाइज नहीं कर रहे हो. हाँ, फिर मैं गिर गई, फिर मैंने आस्ते आस्ते करके मैं आ गई, आस्ते आस्ते करके आ तो गई. I mean, you're not even recognizing the fact that you lifted yourself up, you know. So it is just that tuning you have to prepare people for. And I think as we are teaching children, as we are, training youngsters, we have to make them do. So in all my dance presentations, I give them the concept, but I tell them, you do.
You do. Create yourself.
You create yourself. You choreograph. Yeah, I can look and guide you. I can tell you ये wrong road है, या ये यहाँ पे नहीं जाओगे तो अच्छा रहेगा. लेकिन करना तुमको ही है. और जब तुम करोगे तो आप उस सबमिशन के साथ करोगे, ह्यूमिलिटी के साथ करोगे कि ये इन्होंने बोला है करने के लिए, मैं इसमें मेरा पूरा टाइम देके, एनर्जी देके करूँगी. अच्छा, जब भी हम रिहर्सल में, मैं कहती हूँ मुझे रिहर्सल देखने हैं, तो सब एकदम ऐसे हो जाते हैं, अभी पता नहीं क्या चेंज करेंगी. यू नो, दैट्स नॉट द आइडिया. द आइडिया इज दैट जब आप स्टेज पे जाओगे, यू मस्ट शाइन, एंड दैट यू आर समथिंग एल्स. आई वांट टू क्रिएट दैट ऑरा फॉर यू, एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई sort of shape you a little bit, so that keeping you as you are, how I can make you look the best, you know. So before going out of the house, you dress up to go. You're going for an interview, samjho, or you're going for some function. So before leaving, what you do, you wear whatever you think, so many different clothes, all that, and you dress. And once you're done, even before going out of the door, again you look at the mirror. So yeah, everything's okay na?
सब ठीक ठाक है, अच्छी लग रही हूँ.
Then whoever walks in front of you say, ठीक लग रहा है ना? And then you go. So even in the car, then you're looking in the car mirror, you're looking at your little mirror, you're saying everything is fine. So till you reach the venue and till you get down, and then you're all set. You say, yeah, I'm convinced that I'm looking fabulous today, and I'm, you know, perfect. So imagine how much of, suppose somebody says, नहीं वो बाल थोड़े ठीक कर लो ना, तो immediately you'll do it. You'll not say कि नहीं मैं क्यों करूँ. You will do it because you want at the end of the day to look there the best. So you will accept all these things. So this is the psychology of life. Same thing in the arts. So why do you want to tell somebody what they should you know, correct or change a little bit, so that they when they get down from the car and they go on to that stage, they are the princesses.
And they're appreciated.
Yeah, everybody should just stand and say, wow, that intake of breath and that wow moment. This is what you should aim for in life. And I every day aim for that in my life, that when I step out and go somewhere, everybody should just say, kya baat hai, wow. That should come out. And so for that, you take care of everything. You just don't go in any which manner. So you decide what your aim of life is, how you want to be seen, how you want to live. You want to live a brave and strong life, or you want to look like a weak person, or you want to achieve something in life. And there's no harm in wanting to achieve something. There's no harm in being aspirational. There's no harm in being ambitious. Nothing. But not to forget ourselves, not to forget our culture, not to forget our humility, our subtleness, our aesthetics. All that you have to remember, and then you want to be ambitious and courageous.
Is there some message you would like to give it to the people who's watching this podcast?
You know, different kinds of people who are watching different messages.
True.
So for the those who are senior, I would want to say that be patient with the youngsters. You know, give them the space, guide them, maneuver them in a very subtle way, because the key of the youngster listening to you today is A, speak in their language, B, be subtle, C, be patient. These three things if you do, I'm sure they will all come near you. And what you need today is the youngsters to come nearer to you, not run away from you. That is one important thing. And for the youngsters, I think, just breathe. You know, just breathe. Take space,
slow down.
Take time, you know, and things will come.
There
is no need for any child. When I hear somebody committed suicide or somebody did something to themselves or whatever, I you know, I get very distressed with it. Not depressed, I get distressed, because I feel, kya yaar, अभी कितनी जिंदगी बाकी है
एकदम से,
और आपको इतने जल्दी आपने हार मान ही ली कि यहाँ बहुत कुछ है, पता नहीं आप क्या क्या कर पाते. आपने उसको छोड़ दिया वो अपॉर्चुनिटी को. और अपॉर्चुनिटीज रोज नहीं आते, दे नॉक ओनली वंस. और उस समय में you have to open your doors, keep your doors and windows open and let it come to you. It will come. थोड़ा पेशेंस रखना जरूरी है, थोड़ा calm down, breathe, look at others, interact with people, spend time with good thoughts. अपने आप लाइफ आगे पहुंचेगी ही. अगर 63 साल में मैंने अपना घर खरीदा, my mother said a very hard truth to me, you know. She said, Usha, अगर जब मेरी नई नई शादी हुई थी तो मैं बहुत बोलती थी सब अपना अपना घर खरीद रहे हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स द एजेंडा ऑफ लाइफ. यू गेट मैरिड, you have children, and then you buy your own house, and then you live a happy life, you know, and then you go in your little Maruti car with your 2 children to the park. This is all you have in your life. So then I didn't get children. So I told my mother, I said, none of the plans of the society is working on me. What am I doing? So she said, it's okay. You should feel proud that you didn't get a child, because you are meant for some other work. Suppose you have 2 children and can you imagine going and comparing and the child is coming with a running nose and you are busy cleaning the nose rather than thinking about what Shivji is going to play or what Jasraj is going to sing. So remove the thought. It's okay if you don't have children. The whole world is getting children, but the whole world is not able to do what work you're doing. So I said, that's a good thought. I said, but people will say कि माँ ही बोल रही कि बच्चे नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं. They will think otherwise. She said, no, let them think what they're thinking. I'm happy with what you're doing. Then I said, घर नहीं बन रहा है मेरा. यानी जब भी हम घर की सोचे तो या तो कोई फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम है या पैसे नहीं है या हमारे पास उतनी सेविंग्स नहीं है. ये कभी नहीं होने वाला है. So then she said, see, if you die in your own house or you die in a rented house, the same 13-day program is going to happen. वो तो यहाँ भी वही है वहाँ भी वही है. तो why are you worried? यहाँ भी तुम मरोगी तो वही होने वाला है. So don't you bother. Rented house or own house,
live your life.
Live for today. Be happy in Vijay. Make this rented house look like your own house. So wherever I lived, I made the house look like how I am. Nice looking paintings. घर ऐसा नहीं किसी और का घर है तो मैं उसको गंदा ऐसे ही छोड़ दूँ ना. ये मेरा घर है जहाँ मैं रह रही हूँ. And it should look like how I'm feeling happy. So even in Russia, my house looked like that only. Even here, my house looked like that. So when I came back and I set up this house in Dehradun, I showed the video of the house to my Russian assistant who lived there. And she said, my God, ma'am, the house looks exactly like in Moscow. I said, yeah, how can it be different? Usha is Usha there or here. So she started laughing. She said, my God, you really recreated the same feeling. So that's important, that you live in a nice surrounding, you feel positive every day, and then you learn to love the small little things that God gives you. And you don't want to like that, you don't want to happy, you're always crying about what you didn't get. Okay, but what you have got, that you don't want to say. Every day I stand in this balcony in Sahasradhara and look at the sunset. And every day I post pictures, the sunset is different every day. And I really enjoy that. I get up in the morning, I see the sun. I can't see sunrise because on the other side, but I just look at the sky, I sit with the plants, I drink tea. I'm so enjoying my life in Dehradun. And I'm so grateful that I came to Dehradun. And I don't know why I came. But this own house thing happened now. After my trip to Moscow, I came back, I could save sufficient money and buy a house. And I never regret that I could not buy earlier or now I bought or nothing. I'm happy I got it now, and I'm happy I came to Devbhoomi, I mean, what better land I could have chosen close to Haridwar. Like, I can take like going to Churchgate and coming back, I go to Haridwar and I come back. Like going to MG Road in Bangalore, I go to Rishikesh and I come back. I mean, what more joy can you have that you are amidst a land which is so fertile in spirituality, and it's beautiful and it's so calming, and it gives you small opportunities here and there to interact with people and to do some art and culture and to develop something in new city. I'm very happy here. I love this.
There's one word coming in my mind, वो जिंदा दिली कहते हैं ना, कि आप खुल के जियो और दिल से जियो. That's what I can learn from you, that just live the moment.
What is that? जिंदा दिली से ही रहना चाहिए ना. मुर्दा दिल क्या खाक जिएंगे. There is some share like that. I can't remember it fully, but I think there is no point in living a life which is not. Every morning you should be like, wow. So my Russian assistant, my PA, Angelina, she was a very sweet child. She used to say, morning she would walk into the office and come to my room and say, morning ma'am, we used to have a cup of tea and plan the day. And then she used to say, wonder what's coming today, she used to say. And then something used to come on the table and we had to solve it. And then by 6:30 in the evening, we would have finished that issue and I'd say, today was good, we managed, she used to say. And then she used to go back. So she said, I said 365 into 3 years, we had something coming every day and we kept solving every day. So she said, all in all, we were highly successful. Yeah. Our success rate is good, she said. So I think every day you'll have something. You might have a leg ache, you might have some bad headache, you may have so many small things going around. But I think every day, next morning when you get up, you should get up with the fact that today is a great day and I'm ready for it. That is what is actually being zinda dil, you know. Be taking cognizance of everything around you, being happy and feeling कि चलो life is good, God has been great, He's given us so much. जो भी मिला है, कम भी मिला होगा तो भी ठीक ही है. क्या हो जाएगा, क्या पैसे कम पड़ जाएंगे लाइफ में. तो माय मदर सेड गोल्ड किसके लिए खरीद के रखा है उषा, तो 1-2 बैंगल्स बेच दो, 6-8 महीने निकल जाएंगे, तब तक कुछ दूसरा कुछ आ जाएगा. तो ये सब चीजें तो लेके तो नहीं जाएंगे ऊपर, ये अभी के लिए हैं. ये इसलिए हम खरीद के रखते हैं ताकि हमारा जो मुश्किल का वक्त आएगा उसमें ये गुजर हम निकाल देंगे उस वक्त को. तो कोई भी मटेरियल चीज को गले लगा के रखोगे तो क्या मिलने वाला है, कुछ नहीं. छोड़, जब हमने बाल ही निकाल लिए या जब हमारे पेरेंट्स ही गुजर गए, आप बताइए, दे आर द एंकर्स ऑफ आवर लाइफ, तो क्या उनके जाने के बाद हम जिंदा नहीं रहे, हम जिंदगी नहीं बिता रहे हैं, हम लड़ नहीं रहे हैं, या हम अच्छी चीजें नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम खुश नहीं रहे हैं. एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग ऑन एज scheduled as earlier. तो इतने इम्पोर्टेंट लोग हमारी लाइफ के जब चले जाते हैं, तब भी भगवान ने हमको ऐसा बनाया है कि हम उसमें से भी उभर के हम जिंदगी आगे चला लें. ये स्ट्रेंथ दिया है भगवान ने हमको. और ये 13 दिन और ये सब जो हम करते हैं, ये इसीलिए करते हैं ताकि वो मोर्निंग पीरियड खत्म हो जाए और लास्ट डे हम कहते हैं कि सबको खाना खिलाओ, मंदिर जाओ, ये सब करो, ताकि आगे का साल जो है वो पॉजिटिवली निकले और अच्छी चीजें हो.
My father keeps saying कि जब हिंदुस्तान में बच्चा पैदा होता है तब भी आलू पूड़ी, जब जा रहे हैं तब भी आलू पूड़ी. कह रहे ये बढ़िया है. So philosophy बढ़िया है. We celebrate
life and we celebrate death because we completed that life.
True.
Because that soul will now go and maybe another life. So we believe in this life after death and life and death cycle, you know. So we don't have any problem. जब गुजर भी जाते हैं तभी हम उसको मनाते हैं, और उसके बाद उससे उभर के आगे की का जो समय है वो कैसे पॉजिटिवली. क्या हम हमारे घर के बच्चों को जिंदगी भर रुलाते बैठेंगे?
नहीं.
हाँ ठीक है, उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी जी, वो अच्छे तरीके से जिए और वो चले गए. बच्चों का एक मॉर्निंग पीरियड एक लिमिटेड ही होता है. कोई भी एक्सप्रेशन या इमोशन जो है वो लंबा नहीं चल सकता है. You can't be laughing all the time. You can't be crying all the time. You cannot be angry all the time. It will come down. So you bring it down and then you face it and then you move on. So the moving on has to be with positive. That is why those pujas, those kriyas are done, so that the rest of the life is going in that. And then they come out and they continue life in a smiling way. For that, those things are done. Truth of life is this, कि there should be no hesitation in accepting the fact that yes, there is mourning and yes, there is a life after that for our family and children and everybody. They have to move on, so let them continue their lives. Yeah, we feel, remember, we do. Why do we remember? Every year we remember the ones who have gone. Every year we remember the sadness. Every year we come out of the sadness. So good and bad, sad and happy, these are all part of the same milieu that we have to live in. And the earlier and the most beautiful way that we accept it. So today's problem is tomorrow something else joy. So we accept that and we move on. I think that is the strength that we should all get. So my advice to the youngsters is breathe, take something into your own hands and look for good things. Look for good things. I'm sure you'll find them.
I think we still have a lot to talk, but we will have one more podcast soon. And thank you so much for coming. I think you have really inspired and motivated a lot of people who's watching this podcast. And I think personalities like you should be more reachable to people, because आजकल बहुत कम लोग हैं जो यूथ को इंस्पायर करते हैं. और मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि हिंदुस्तान का यूथ बहुत सारा भटका हुआ भी है, उन्हें दिशा नहीं मिल रही है. तो कोई अगर उन्हें सही गाइड करे और सही दिशा दिखाए, उससे बेहतर चीज़ उनकी ज़िंदगी में कोई नहीं हो सकती. एंड आई थिंक दिशा दिखाने से आपसे एक बहुत गुरु वाली फीलिंग भी आ रही है मेरे को ना. मुझे बहुत ऐसा पॉजिटिव अच्छा सा लग रहा है.
I'm a very cool person. I love Hustle 2.0. Badshah is my favorite. And I just love rap.
No, but that's what you're saying, na, कि mixture of both has to happen. So you are like very good balance of, you know, that thing. So I think
We'll do another podcast in which I'll talk to you about my journey in the government, and I will also
Yes.
talk to you about my love for Hustle 2.0.
Okay, sure. And thank you so much, Aja Pai, and you gave your lot of time to us. And keep shining and keep living the life you're living. And I'm really
you.
inspired. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And to all the viewers who are watching, Satvika is a very dear, dear person to me. I've known her now from the year 2015 or 14, I think. And it's been a long time. And she's really grown in her life. I'm so appreciative of that. And this wonderful legacy that she's carrying forward of her parents and her grandparents of Nanhi Dunya. More strength to her. More strength to all the youngsters who are carrying on legacies, because it's important not to leave our traditions and legacies behind. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you all. I've bared my heart and I hope you appreciate what I've said. Thank you so much.